There are two types of pure substances. So we've identified it's a pure substance. Now we can go and classify it a little bit more. We have two types of pure substances. You have an element and you have a compound. An element is a pure substance that is going to be composed of only one type of atom. We can identify this in a particulate diagram by looking at the dots. Here we have two examples of elements. We have the one on the left with the red dots, and we have the one on the right with the green dots. As you can see, with looking at the green dotted one first, you can see that that's easily classified as an element because we only have one type of atom, these green atoms. I don't know what they represent, doesn't matter, but we only have one type and there's nothing physically attached to it. All right, so that is an element. The red dots on the side are also an element. They are only made up of one single type of atom, which is the red atom for this case. There's nothing, no other colors physically attached, but you do see there are two red atoms attached together, and that's okay. With an element, there are special elements called diatomics. Okay, and these are atoms that like to have a buddy with them. So these diatomics are going to self-attach to another atom of its kind. So they're only made up of one element. They just like to have a buddy with them. We're going to talk about how you can identify the types of diatomics that there are. I will show you how to do that. But when you see a diagram like this, the big idea that I want you to get is that because it's only made up of one type of atom, the red atom, it is classified as an element. Now, if I go back here to the diatomics, that word, that prefix di means two. All right, and that just means there are two of them together. Okay, and we'll go in to how you identify a diatomic. But what I want you to get out of this slide is understanding that when there's only one type of atom in the diagram, it is classified as an element, which is a pure substance. Our other type of pure substance is called a compound. This is a pure substance that is going to be composed of more than one type of atom. And the thing you're going to look for is that they are physically attached. Okay, they should be physically attached. So if you see more than one atom, they have to be physically attached to one another to be classified as a compound. So let's look at our examples here. The first one, we have a blue atom and we have a red atom, and they are physically attached. And that's all that's in that picture. They are in the same ratio throughout, which is a 1-to-1 ratio. So we know it's a pure substance. And we know it's a compound because the red and the blue are physically attached to one another. Here in this other example to the right, we see the green and the purple. Again, they are physically attached. We also know that it's the same pattern throughout the entire picture, which we learned in the last slide that that same pattern tells us that it is a pure substance and they are physically attached to one another. So in order to have that compound name, they have to physically be attached, which they are. So it is a compound.